You've been showing up for God for years, doing the work, staying in the Word, trying to stay clean, and somehow you still feel like you're one mistake away from losing His approval. That feeling, it isn't humility, it's a lie that you've been living inside, and it's costing you the one thing God actually wants you to have. In this video, we're going straight to Romans 8, and we're going to be looking at exactly where this breaks down, what it means that you were adopted as a son, and why most men will never actually even receive it. There's one word in this passage that most men read right past, and when you see what it actually means, it's going to reframe every conviction, every failure, and every time you've ever felt like God was disappointed in you. Faithful, it's not the same as being free. You can show up every day, do everything right, and never miss a Sunday, and still be living in a cage that you've built yourself. Romans 8:15. Paul is writing to men who have come out of systems built on performance, Roman culture, religious laws, social hierarchy. These were men who understood earning, who understood rank, who really understood what it meant to be under someone's authority and then to prove your worth. And into that world, Paul, he drops this: "For you did not receive the spirit of slavery to fall back into fear, but you have received the spirit of adoption as sons, by whom we cry, Abba, Father." Before we interpret this, you got to hear it. You did not receive slavery. You received adoption, not a promotion, not a better job title, not employee of the month. Adoption. That is a legal and permanent, irrevocable transfer of identity. In Roman law, which is exactly the world Paul readers lived in, an adopted son, well, he had the full rights of a biological son. The past was legally erased. Old debts, old obligations, old identity even, they were gone, replaced entirely by the Father's name, the Father's household, the Father's inheritance. That is exactly what happened to you the moment that you received Christ. Not a work contract, family. And here's the word that most men walk right past: Abba. We read it and then we move on. Abba, it's not a formal title. It's not the word that you would use when you were addressing someone with authority over you. It is not how a servant would ever speak to his master. Abba is the word that a small child uses when he runs to his father. It is intimate, it is immediate, and it assumes access. A child does not knock and wait to be called in. A child does not check his record before he approaches. A child, he doesn't clean himself up first and then rehearse what he's going to say. He just runs. Now, here's what I want you to really sit with. Paul says we cry, Abba. It means to cry out, to call loudly, to call with urgency. This is not a composed, formal approach to God. This is a son who needs his father and does not hesitate for 1 second to go to him. And when is the last time that you approached God like that? Or have you been knocking quietly, waiting to be let in, wondering if today is a good day to come to him? It's not sonship, brother. It's an employee waiting outside the office. Now, here's where it gets really uncomfortable, and I need you to stay with me here. The reason why most men operate as employees instead of sons, it's not because they haven't read enough scripture, it's because they believe at a very deep level that their access to God is conditional on their performance. I got a comment from a man recently. He said, "Years of my effort always felt like an employee-employer type. I really thought following God was about performing, being holy always, at all times, and every time I get convicted, I feel like a worker ant." That man, he's been in the faith. He's been doing the work, but he's been doing it from the wrong identity. And here's the thing about operating from the wrong identity. It produces the right behaviors for the wrong reasons. And eventually, it breaks you. Because you can never perform enough. The standard, it never moves, and every conviction becomes a write-up. Every failure becomes evidence that you're not really his. That is the spirit of slavery that Paul is talking about. Not chains, not a prison, mindset, a posture, an invisible cage built out of years of trying to earn what was already given to you. The enemy does not need to take your salvation. He just needs to make you forget what it means. And if he can keep you in employee mode, striving, performing, managing your record, he has neutralized you. A man who is exhausted from performing cannot fight. He can't lead. He can't pour into anyone else because he has nothing left. Performance-based faith, doing works, is not theologically wrong, it is tactically devastating. So let me ask you some questions, not to corner you, but to locate you. When you sin, what is your first instinct? Is it to go to the Father, or is it to clean yourself up first, get your head straight, and then approach him once you feel more presentable? When you read scripture, are you looking for a relationship, or are you just looking for the rule that you've broken? When life gets hard, is prayer your first move or your last reason after everything else has failed? And when you feel convicted, does it feel like your Father pulling you close, or does it feel like your boss writing you up? These aren't rhetorical questions, they're diagnostic, because the answers tell you which identity you're actually operating from, regardless of what you believe in your head. I've been there, and I know what it's like to carry faith like a debt you can never fully repay, to show up, read the Word, to prayer, to church, not out of love, but really out of fear of what happens if you don't. That's not the life you were adopted into. And the fact that you want more, and the fact that man in the comments said he wanted to receive sonship, that hunger, not a weakness. That is the Spirit in you crying out for what is already yours. Sonship does not mean that you stop being disciplined. It means that you're going to understand what discipline is for. Hebrews 12 verse 6, the Lord disciplines the one he loves. A father, well, he disciplines his son not to punish him into compliance, to shape him into what he was made to be. Conviction is not God writing you up. Conviction is your Father saying, come back, I want you close. That thing is pulling you away from me, and I won't let it have you. That is not the voice of employer disappointed in your performance. That is the voice of a Father who paid everything to keep you in the family. So here's your responsibility: not to perform better, to receive more fully. Receive the identity, receive the access, receive the correction as love, not punishment. And really, guys, stop approaching God like a man who is just hoping to be tolerated. You were adopted. You are a son. You are an heir. Galatians 4:7, so you are no longer a slave, but a son. And if a son, then an heir through God. And an heir, well, does not earn the inheritance. He receives it because of who his father is and because of what his father did. Your job is not to earn your way in. Your job is to stop living like you still live on the outside. And like all my videos, I don't wrap this up clean because I don't think you should walk away from this video feeling resolved. I think you should walk away feeling unsettled in the right way. The kind of unsettled that really makes a man sit down with God tonight and ask, who have I actually been talking to all this time? And who have I believed you to be? That conversation, well, that's between you and him. But I'll tell you this, the man in that comment, he said he wants to receive sonship, not earn it. It's not a discipline issue. It's not a consistency issue. It's not a do more issue. It's a receiving issue. And if you need a place to start, go back and watch the short on this channel called God Never Called You What You Call Yourself. That's really on-ramp to what we've just walked through. Victory will come, brother. Be strong.